All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look. Al Jazeera. Smoke billowing in Tel Aviv after a barrage of missiles targeted central Israel. The Iranian retaliation has started, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's going to be limited. I think it's going to be restrained. I don't think that it's going to... I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Iran has the smoke. But perhaps I'm wrong.
Can do, and so there was an expectation of a very violent response from Iran, and this...
Oh, Bibi's on the run?
You know, as we've been hearing from military experts and analysts in Israel, is the beginning of such a response. We don't know, like I said, we don't have confirmation.
Can you imagine if Greece,
on the location,
a signatory of the ICC, can you imagine if Greece turned around and arrested Benjamin Netanyahu? Please, for the love of Christ and all things holy, for the love of Allah, for the love of all the gods, okay? Could you imagine a world where during this Iranian retaliation, it's an excellent five-head play, an excellent 5D chess move, where Benjamin Netanyahu, of course, flies. I can't believe you were talking so highly of Greece and you call yourself a Turk. I mean, guys, I'm desperate, okay? I'm desperate for justice. I'm desperate for justice. So yes, in desperate times, even a Turk such as myself will hope for Greece to do the right thing and not assume that they will be cowardly participants, except they are going to be cowardly participants. Let's be real. But I'm just fantasizing.
Is in a state of emergency. Schools have been shut down since the early morning hours. Businesses as well. Everything by way of a normal daily routine has been halted, and only the very basics, the more than crucial activities are being allowed to proceed, including public transportation. That it's only being allowed to be used if absolutely necessary. Hospitals are on high alert. They've been told to clear as many beds as possible.
Medics in Tel Aviv, no initial injuries reported. That is expected.
Medical attention in smaller facilities. So there are those precautions, there are those preparations, plans that have been in place for months, if not years. They keep being updated on a regular basis because attacking Iran has been central to Israeli foreign policy, certainly under the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu for many, many years. And the Israeli bureaucracy, the Israeli army is ready in terms of planning of how to respond, how to anticipate and try to mitigate any kind of damage to civilian infrastructure.
ABC special report just started.
Uncertainty and certainly one.
God damn, dude.
For the kids and possibly here.
Right, well, moments ago, the skies of Tel Aviv were ablaze as Iran fired a barrage of missiles
We heard the radio
Israel.
announcement on the loudspeaker like we've heard before, telling people to get to a shelter, and we'll be here until we get the all clear and when it's apparently deemed safe to be able to leave this shelter here, Diane.
Israeli Ministry of Defense headquarters has just been struck. Okay, there's going to be a lot of fake news that's flying around everywhere, by the way. And there's a lot of backstory that I have to cover. But obviously, the breaking story is happening at this very moment. Had to get into it immediately. But yes, moments ago, Iranian missiles were launched towards Israel. And from what I understand, multiple missiles have not been successfully intercepted. Remember, this is a multi-billion-dollar operation. You got Tamir interceptors that are for the smaller munitions, and you have the Arrow systems in Israel as well. But then on top of that, you have anti-defense missile systems to protect Israel and Jordan, and you have the entirety of the American Central Command working actively in real time to stop all of these missiles from touching a hair on the head of anyone in Israel. And even then, in spite of all of that, Iranian missiles have been able to penetrate into Tel Aviv, as you have seen before, and they're still doing it. I mean, you can see it. Look, the ones that are flying from the ground are the interceptor missiles. They're anti-defense missile systems, and yet, in spite of that, the Iron Dome can be overwhelmed, as the Iranian retaliation last time around showed. This seemingly, according to Elant News, who's in the chat already, appears to be in the vicinity of IDF headquarters. We don't have enough information coming yet. Obviously, Israel also has deep censorship laws. I mean, even though they got hella smartphones out there, and there's like literally Israeli chatters in here who can just like confirm or deny what's going on. But I think last time when this happened, the Israeli military immediately applied censorship and tried to stop the information from coming out, like confirming strike targets and whatnot. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because obviously in the interim, there is going to be some misinformation. There's going to be a lot of misinformation flying around as always. So be aware of that when you're bringing in information here, and try to go after trusted resources. I suspect that Iran is not done yet. This barrage is just simply the first salvo. There will be more that comes in terms of self-preservation, self-defense, and ensuring that they do not get completely eviscerated. I suspect that the Iranian government's calculation here is going to be part restrained, so not so aggressive that they actively try to take out like heads of state or anything like that, just like Israel itself demonstrates some of that restraint in comparison to how belligerent they are when they don't actually go after, you know, heads of state and stuff like that. But they assassinated a big chunk of the military command. They assassinated some top military officials, some nuclear scientists in residential areas. I don't know the exact number of casualties in Iran due to the Israeli strikes, but there was a relatively sophisticated infiltration campaign that Mossad had conducted, as far as I understand. This is not like glazed to Israel at all, but I think it also shows a weakness within Iranian national security that directly stems from the resentment that the Iranian population, some in the Iranian population, have towards this administration due to its fundamentalist attitudes, especially amongst the Iranian youth, and also the fact that the country is in turmoil economically, and it's much easier to basically purchase allegiances internally within Iran. The fact that Mossad was able to create a drone shop inside of Tehran, from what I understand, and then utilize those drones immediately to take out anti-air defense systems that Iran has, and then go after the missile salvo, goes beyond the notion of Israel gets to do whatever it wants and can use overwhelming force because they're backed by the most powerful country on the planet. Obviously, that plays a major role. There are no repercussions for Israel, but make no mistake, the very fact that they are able to build a drone facility, like a tiny drone facility, inside of Iranian national boundaries implies that there are massive leaks within the IRGC, within the Iranian government, and that they can take advantage of the Iranian population's discontent to a certain degree. So this is a major problem for Iranian sovereignty in general. This is a major problem for Iranian security. And I suspect that a big part of the reason why this is even taking place, or even took place, is because of that glaringly obvious weakness. One that I have even mentioned in the past. The regime's attitude and fundamentalist attitude specifically paired up with the economic sanctions strangling the economy of Iran and causing volatility creates a major weakness that the Israeli intelligence has clearly exploited successfully. Now, like I said, does Iran have the capability of really punishing Israel, like doing the deed, right? Doing the thing that people are worried about, understandably, like killing a bunch of civilians or potentially even assassinating like heads of state, or even simultaneously activating sleeper cells that I suspect they might have internally inside of Israel, as they did last time around. No, it's not, of course, not situation. It's more so governments have tremendous power. Does Israel have the power to assassinate the Iranian head of state? Yes. Did they do that? No, not yet, at least. Okay? You forget, just as Iran has more power than what it is showing right now. Okay? Israel calls for regime change all the time. There's a difference between calling for regime change for decades and then actually forcibly decapitating the regime. The idea that Iran does not have enough prowess or enough power to be able to really deal a massive blow to Israel in spite of Israel's unimaginable defense capabilities that we are paying for, by the way, the answer is they could. It's more so a matter of, do they want it? Do they want the American response that will come in retaliation? Are they willing to withstand? Are they willing to go to the unimaginable? Are they willing to go to the place where maybe it's World War III, Because Israel's goal very clearly in unison with the United States of America, because Israel and America are not separate entities. They work alongside one another. They're hand in glove. Israel and America is the same. Okay. I need you to understand this. This is a very important thing that people refuse to recognize. This is the reason why I kept repeating myself over and over again, saying Donald Trump and Israel are like this. There is no real divide. The only divide maybe could be from how narcissistic he is. But beyond that, in terms of foreign policy goals, this is not Israel's doing. This is America's doing. America is the primary responsible party here. America and Israel are like this. They are one inseparable unit. Israel is simply America's wishes in the region, America's grand design in the region. Okay? That's precisely the reason why myself and a few other people, in the process of Donald Trump doing his Middle Eastern conversations, in the process of getting Edon Alexander, it was myself, Zay Squirrel, I think it was 4 other people that were this is bullshit and it's most likely not going to amount to anything, in spite of the fact that plenty of very smart commentators were still assuming that there could be a real separation between Israel and America here. But it was not happening. It was all just smoke and mirrors. And very clearly, the negotiation process, I said, the negotiation process was being used to basically develop this perfectly crafted strike against Iran, a fairly sophisticated military campaign that they've obviously been implementing, that they've obviously been planning for quite a while. They don't get to do this without America's go-ahead. They don't get to do this without America's logistics. I'm talking about Israel, of course, and what they did last night. And I covered this extensively when they struck Tehran and they struck the nuclear facility as well, one of the nuclear facilities, and killed a bunch of nuclear scientists and also high-level IRGC commanders. Now, while Iran does clearly have the targeting capabilities of striking Tel Aviv and overwhelming the Iron Dome, as we have shown, Iron Dome is not the only defense that Israel has. There's numerous defenses. Will they actually deploy enough munitions to really punish Israel, to really actually show Israel their prowess and force Israel to back away, force Israel to back down, especially now that Israel has communicated, as we covered yesterday, on numerous occasions that they are invested in a much longer military campaign here. Okay, because they called the American troops to move away from Bahrain and Kuwait. They called the embassies to pull out. Americans did, knowing full well that Iran was going to retaliate. And then the Israeli government came out and basically said, this is our big, last, final huzzah. This is the thing that they have been waiting for, attacking Iran and pulling America into the battle and basically going to war with Iran is the final design, is the final piece of the puzzle for Israel and America's ambitions in the region.